Hello YouTube, it is Jordan Mustang 87 back once again to now begin the start of another all new Let's Play, and this time I think it's time for me to try something a bit different, because well, I figured since I'm probably going to be playing through Gran Turismo 4 for likely the rest of this year and probably most of next year as well, I might as well diversify my schedule a bit and include this game's technical spin-off. Well, this game's motorcycle counterpart, if you will. Anyway, so believe it or not, this game came out a year after Gran Turismo 4 released worldwide, and basically they decided that because the game engine that was used to create Gran Turismo 4, they figured there was a bit more life in that game engine, and they figured they would give us a spin-off to that game by providing us with this Tourist Trophy. As I said before, this game came out a year after Gran Turismo 4, and believe it or not, this game is also not far from reaching 20 years old, because this game first released in 2006. So this game is technically 18 years old, and will be pushing for 20 years old in just a few years' time. So this game, according to the GT fandom, which is precisely where I'm getting this information from, apparently it first came out in China on January 26th of 2006, and then 6 days later, on February the 2nd, it would be released in Japan. And then the Americans would get this game a few months later by early April of 2006, and then we Europeans would also get this game 2 months after that by June the 2nd of 2006. And something else that's quite interesting about the PAL version is knowing that we technically get 3 more additional motorcycles to the bikes that are already available in this game. And aside from that, we also get more riding gear, as well as more tracks as well, from artists such as Hysterio, The Infidels, and Vitalik. All artists, of course, were quite, or somewhat known at the time for their music. Although, out of all those 3 artists I quite like, I would honestly have to say the Infidels, to me, definitely feel like the standout figure. So I've now created my rider profile, because obviously this game is all about bikes, not cars. And I figured, well, I've been wanting to play this game for a while now, and I figured now was a good time to do it, so, you know. And in terms of what my rider's height is, well, technically, I'm 5'10", and when I did my research over what that is in centimeters, I'm pretty sure that's 178. So I'm pretty sure my height is 5'10", which, from what I know at least, is equivalent to about 178 in centimeters. So, yeah. Yeah, that's right. And profile is now created, and about the same file size as what we get in Gran Turismo 4. It's about 14, maybe 1500 kilobytes. I think that's what the term technically is, but either way. Our profile is now created. And this game was definitely a change of pace at the time, but it is fair to say that, like with all of the GT games, it definitely gave us some impressive aesthetics, to say the least. And also going through these typical settings here. And I figured since not many other people have actually done a playthrough of this game, I might as well be one of those people who does do a playthrough of this game. So, published of course by Sony, developed by Polyphony Digital, and as I said before, uses the same game engine as what the Gran Turismo 4 development engine had, and it's fair to say that this game definitely became a standout. So in terms of our main menu settings, we have arcade mode, tourist trophy mode, which is obviously simulation mode, replay theatre, music theatre, options, save, and also the credits. I think there is also an ending movie in this game somewhere as well. But let's now go through each of these, where we will first start off with the options, because obviously I have to turn off the in-game music. I have actually done a full playthrough of this game before, so I do more or less understand everything that goes on with this game. So basically, it's more or less the same option settings that we get in GT4, except for saying that there are obviously a few changes here and there. And yep, I think that's all good. Oh, wait a minute. I should probably put the menu BGM on because I'm pretty sure that's not copyrighted. And in terms of everything else, let's see. Miscellaneous or miscellaneous. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. And yep, miles, and going with horsepower. Don't need to change the torque is fine. And language, obviously English. And I think that should be everything. And don't need to change anything there. And screen size, I'll put that to 16 by 9 because I obviously have a widescreen TV. And let's now go through each of our settings in Tourist Trophy mode. Although I will also have to check arcade mode as well whilst I'm here, so why not? So, I'm just here to check something to make sure there isn't anything here. And I don't think we need to unlock any courses whilst we're here. I think we should be okay from what I can see. There are no course unlocks from what I know. We pretty much have all the courses we need anyway, so I don't think that really matters. But anyway, let's move on to Tourist Trophy mode, and where hopefully, if it's possible, this video will not get partially taken down for copyright claims. But anyway, so we get started with our first car, and sorry, I keep saying car for some reason. Our first bike. Welcome to the world of Tourist Trophy. The first step is to learn the fundamentals of riding motorcycles so that you can compete safely and effectively. So these are the settings we get. We of course get License School, which is obviously the license centre. And something else we also get here is Challenge Mode, so we can basically earn all of the bikes that are available to us. We basically have to win those, and it's kind of like some sort of pseudo mission mode where you're basically having to pass the bike or bikes in front of you to effectively win ownership of the bike, or effectively the key to the bike, if you will. Some of the things we get here aside from the license school, we get time trial, photo mode, garage, riding gear, and race events. And in terms of the manufacturers we have in this game, well, those are Honda, Yamaha, Aprilia, Buell, Kawasaki, BMW, Ducati, MV Agusta, Suzuki, and Triumph as our 10 manufacturers in the challenge mode, and a total of 93 bikes that we can win from the challenge mode, along with a couple of others that we can get from winning all of the race events as well, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so a lot of these bikes are locked because, well, technically we need a license in order to unlock those. And I think almost every manufacturer does have a superbike available. So N is short for novice, J is short for junior, E is, well, short for expert, and S is short for super. So the licenses will need to be required for most of these bikes, but before I do that, I figured it might as well be worth it for me to get all of the free bikes whilst I'm at it, because, well, I figured since they don't require a license, I might as well get them. Just to, you know, have some bikes in my garage. I figured it would make sense for me to do something like this. But yeah, as I said before, we need a license in order to obtain most of these bikes, but I figured it would be worth it for me to at least go after the free bikes first, and then, more or less, get the licenses and focus on the other bikes afterwards. I think that's what my plan is going to be, but we'll wait and see. It depends on how I feel. But yeah, so technically we get a lot of BMX bikes as well as scooter bikes as well. Obviously they're low powered because, well, they are technically the bikes that we can get without needing a license. And almost done viewing all these. Again, as I said before, most of these require a license in order for us to get all of them. And hopefully that gives you everything you need to know about the challenge mode. Oh yeah, and also autosave is on as well, which I don't think I can turn off. I'd have to go back and check to be sure, but I don't think I can turn off the autosave. And in terms of what race events we have available to start with, well, we technically have these 4 events here, as the other ones, well, they require us to have a racing bike. And I will cross that bridge, or we will cross that bridge when we get to it. So we've got Street Machine Cup Stage 1, Street Machine Cup Stage 2, Street Machine Cup Stage 3, and Street Machine Cup Stage 4. God, saying that 4 times over is a real tongue twister. But anyway, those are the first 4 events that we get available to us. However, I do require you to get your license first, and then afterwards you can pretty much do whatever you want once you've got all 4 licenses and you've managed to more or less, well, get yourself set up for the race events. So we do already start off with a bike, the Honda FTR from 2005, and we can change a couple of things here. And, well, because this is a road bike, we cannot change the number on this thing. Numbers can only be changed on race bikes from what I know. And there's also an exclusive series of events to end off the game as well, which I also think is pretty useful. So we start off with a tri-coloured Honda FTR, and this is our stats screen in terms of what we have available, where our game progression is, and on the far right hand side, that is for a set of endurance racing bikes that we will be hopeful in acquiring as we go further and further through the game, and as we get through the last couple of race events before the bonus race event that we get to do afterwards. That's precisely what those empty pictures more or less represent. And we also get everything else: game progress, how many bikes we own, how many bikes we've been awarded, what riding gear we have available to us, and also what license trophies we have, as well as how many golds, silvers or bronze trophies we have for each of the licenses. And because I haven't played this game for a while, it is going to take a bit of time for me to fully get used to this game again, but either way, hopefully that gives you everything you need to know about this game. And we also got settings as well, which I might as well showcase whilst I'm here. So basically, with each bike in this game, we do get our own individual settings that we can do to any of them. Of course, I'm not going to mess around with the settings, because if I do, then I feel like there's going to be a lot of things that will go disastrously wrong. So I will probably not mess with the settings in any way, unless it is transmission related, because that's the only thing I really understand. When it comes to vehicle setups, not really anything else in all honesty. But hopefully that gives you everything you need to know about Tourist Trophy. And we also get a brief little description for each of the bikes we have as well, which is pretty cool. So hopefully that gives you everything you need to know about Tourist Trophy, the real riding simulator. And next time we will begin with getting all of our free bikes in challenge mode, coming in the debut episode of this game. Here we go.